welcome back to Waterbox Live. The last time we saw you, it was Fresh Friday?
No.
No. Okay.
Not at all.
Time warp. Time warp. All right. Not even sure what day it is. Cool.
I mean, hope you guys did tune in for Fresh Friday, hopefully. But no, we did a recap.
Okay, that's
follow
right.
up.
It was Fresh Friday related. That's why it screwed me up.
Yes, it was.
See? If you guys haven't already, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Helps us out tremendously. Also, tell me what you did to the like button.
Yep, so we are doing 2 $100 Waterbox gift cards to give away today. Currency of that is to be active in the chat, which is super important for this stream because, as we had said last week, we never get to all the questions. We never can get through them all. So we are doing a all Q&A one. So this is all for you guys. Drop your questions in the chat. The guys are going to grab as many as possible. We're going to go through as many. Now's the time to pick our brain. Tanks, Waterbox, kind of whatever. We're here to answer questions, and then we will have 2 $100 Waterbox gift cards to give away at the end of the stream.
Yes, drop your questions. That's what we're here for. So we haven't done one of these in a while, it seems like.
We haven't, and they're very popular because it gives dedicated time, because almost every stream we do a little Q&A. We grab like 5 or 8 questions, and then we run out of time. And there's so many more in there. So this is your chance to truly benefit from the live aspect of our streams.
Yes.
So, but if anyone missed Fresh Friday, shame on you. But do check out the streams that we did for that. A lot of cool content. Get yourself an idea of some of these live stream events that we do once or twice a year.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
Check those out.
Definitely check it out. Also, to reiterate, we are giving away 2 $100 gift cards. I have no show notes today.
Yes,
so.
they are. You said you didn't need them.
I know. 2 $100 gift cards to stream. So the way to enter into that is you just engage with us in the comments, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. But most importantly, if you don't comment, we don't know you're here. So
yep, absolutely.
How are you going to win?
True. So we give away gift cards for pretty much every single stream. And like you said, unless you're being active in the chat, these are being handpicked by activity in that chat by the guys back there. So if you're not commenting, you're not being active, you're not asking questions, you have no chance of winning. So, you know, definitely get in there and grab that.
Are you guys ready to get started?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Does Rich think about his horse head late at night? Hell yeah, I do. Yes, I do, Cole. It's always on my mind. And as a matter of fact, it's in my office, so I get to see it almost every day.
It does live here now. If anyone's missed this, the horse head, when did he make an appearance? I don't remember that when that was, but
I don't know.
All it lives in your office. Every time you walk by through the hallway, you see the giant golden horse head.
All I know is that somebody mentioned it. I talked about it years ago, and then someone mentioned it, so I brought it on. Now it lives at the office.
Yeah, it does. So. It's something.
Yeah. About to stock up on filter socks for my Waterbox AIO 30.2. What's the difference between felt and mesh filter socks?
So the mesh ones are going to collect larger particles. These are beneficial. So I use mesh whenever, say, you're doing a big maintenance or a big water change, or kick up a lot of dirt, you've got algae problems, and you're going to be kicking up a lot of stuff. They're going to catch the larger stuff. As a day-to-day, I always run the felt 225s because they're going to pick up all that stuff, plus also a lot of the medium to smaller dirt. And then you also have felt 100 micron. And these are going to be much finer, so they're going to catch super small stuff. And these are really, if you want to polish your water, if you have a little bit of like stirred up debris, they're really good for kind of polishing, but not necessarily running the 100 micron all the time. My favorite is the 225 felt. Mesh only if you need to catch bigger chunks, or some people use the mesh whenever maybe they're not so good about changing filter socks and it clogs back up, that the mesh are a good alternative. However, they're going to not catch a lot of the small stuff that's floating through your aquarium.
Thank you, Pete. Hello, looking for a recommendation on best freshwater tank.
Oh, that's such a big question. Oh man, there's so many that go into that. I would say look at the Edens. For like getting into it, because we have the complete, has the light, has the canister, has everything you need to get going,
Agreed.
has a nice really clean look to it, and it goes all the way up to the 80-gallon size, so it fixed a lot of people's needs. But as far as best, it depends technically on what you want to do, how much space do you have, how much money do you have.
There's only one best freshwater tank.
Waterbox.
Yes.
Yes.
You knew the answer. Good.
You
Thank
should have
you.
just jumped in and answered that. And I'd be like, cool, that's good enough.
Yeah, I guess I could have. Thank you, Raphael. My dishes are on hold for this. Good.
Dude, nobody wants to do the dishes. This is way better. Ask them, drop your questions in here so we can
Do
help
the
you
dishes tomorrow.
out. You don't have dishes
They'll
every
still
day.
be there tomorrow, I promise
As
you.
an adult, every day there are dishes.
Can you rinse softened water in a freshwater tank? I have a whole house filter and water softener.
So most freshwater fish are not going to appreciate your soft water unless you buffer it up to the pH that your fish need, which is totally okay. You can use that whole house system that's softened, but you're going to have to bring the pH and everything back up to remineralize it and bring the pH up to what type of freshwater fish you are keeping, because they're going to have different needs, and usually soft water is not going to fit that except for a certain kind of group. So figure out what your type of fish need. But there's so many products out there for pH adjustment, remineralization, all that stuff that you can take that soft water and put it to what you need.
Thank you, Sean. How much sand should I use for the Clear Mini 30 if I want a height of about 2 inches?
Oh man, 2 inches. You're probably gonna need around 30 or so pounds, depending on the substrate. If we're talking Eco Complete, like that one, it's gonna be probably around 30 pounds. So just grab 2 20-pound bags so you have extra. But if it's gonna be like something like samurai soil or sand, the weight versus height is gonna be quite different. I know there's some online substrate calculators though that can let you pick like almost the type of substrate, size, and depth, and it'll give you a much better, because it is very dependent on what you're going to use.
People are throwing in questions that aren't even fish related.
We only
What
want your
kind?
Waterbox related.
I don't know.
fish
Your
questions.
title says "Ask Us Anything," so
I guess you're right.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, let's
As
throw
long
one
as
in
it's
there that's not
PG.
fish
that's not fish related.
What you got? What's your favorite Olympic sport?
None of them.
Burn.
Are you actually gonna pick an answer? You don't watch it.
I don't. But if I had to pick one, it would.
Breaking.
What's that?
Breakdancing.
Oh, do they have that?
That's
It's
a new
in
sport.
there. It's in
But
there.
I
now.
think skateboarding's in there now, right?
Yeah.
So that would have to be it.
Pick a skateboard.
I'm not really into like the traditional stuff, like throwing javelins. And, do they still do that? I don't know. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Wrong people to ask about the Olympics, but I would say skateboarding.
Sorry.
Jess says none. What saltwater fish would be great for beginner hobbyists?
I mean, besides your standard clownfish, so if you want to get away from the cliche, everyone has clownfish, that's your starter fish, then look into some different types like firefish, cardinals, gobies, and blennies are all really fun beginner fish that are hardy, and they're going to handle your tank a little bit better. Do stay away from damsels, which people will tell you, or a pet store will tell you that's a good way to start. Get away from those. They're aggressive. They're going to be a pain in your tank later. Chromis are kind of the same. They're too crazy active and heavy feeders that they tend to cause issues with shyer fish ever coming out. And also, they're going to cause a lot of overfeeding by taking so much food to get any other food to another fish, because chromis are like little sharks. So if you want to avoid clownfish, firefish, cardinals, gobies, blennies are all really fun groups of fish.
Thank you, Matthew. Great question. Matthew again says, what are your favorite hardy salt and freshwater fish? Favorites.
Favorite hardy ones. You go first.
I mean, obviously the clownfish, right? Mm-hmm. Freshwater. I don't know enough about freshwater to say whether or not they're hardy, but I like the rainbows a lot.
Okay. Yeah, they're pretty hardy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say probably maybe back in the day they weren't, but so favorite hardy saltwater fish is going to be the little gobies that pair with pistol shrimp, because they're adorable when they have a pistol shrimp friend. And for freshwater fish, it's going to be African cichlids, either Malawis or peacocks. I think those are definitely a best way to go with freshwater.
Nice. What's a good starter tank for saltwater?
Any.
Bring next 90.3.
Huh?
Bring next 90.3. or 110.4.
Yeah, I mean, some system technically is easier in the long run.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say just because simple again, Eden, for the fact that you have a complete, it has light, it has canister, it has all the stuff that you need, so you don't have to think as much. But the tank
You're saying
is-
for saltwater.
Oh, saltwater. I was thinking freshwater. That
Yeah.
would be mine. Right
What's-
next. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going based off of metrics. Mike, any experience with soal tangs?
Yes. Absolutely beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful tang. They are nasty. And they also get large. So in true reality, I think for a soal tang, 6 foot minimum. But I think you're looking, 7 or 8 foot is a lot better. You need a wide tank. They also do not need to be one of the beginner fish put in there because they can get really territorial unless you get them really small. But the personality of those is very aggressive. So you do, and tangs in general tend to be aggressive, but these are one of the ones up with like the clown tang and stuff that are going to be some of the most aggressive. But if you have the right tank and it's large enough and you can put them in at the right time, they're also one of the prettiest. Their pattern and everything is very intricate, extremely beautiful.
Waterbox 3 Reef LX 380.8 for
Would
that
be a
fish.
fantastic choice.
Yes. Do you have an intensity recommendation for the XR15 running 80 plus on the 35.2 with LPS and softies?
I do not.
Say that 10 times fast.
I don't. It depends a lot. I would really go to their groups and look at other people's schedules
Does
or ask in our
Ecotech
Facebook group.
have a thing? AI has that signature series. Does Ecotech have that?
I think they do. I think they have in their group like something for that. Also, a good one is to check out our Facebook user group, the Waterbox Facebook user group. I'm sure there's a ton of people using that on that tank, can give you an idea on intensities and stuff like that. But there is a lot of variables when it comes to schedules and light and all that.
Kimberly Glover's asking, what is the most popular, freshwater or saltwater? Freshwater.
Yep.
Freshwater overall globally is
Huge.
at the
compared.
very minimum 10 times larger than saltwater in terms of volume, etc. Saltwater is far more niche.
Figure almost everyone
Niche.
starts with.
Is it niche or niche? I always call it niche.
I call it niche. I don't know. What's right? Niche?
Niche.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I always say
Not.
niche though.
Go niche.
James Orr, what kind of zoos are in your background image? Zoas. That's another. Zoas or zoos? What do you guys call them? Zoos or zoas?
I say zoos. No.
Yeah. But they're zoanthids.
They're zoanthids.
But yeah, I guess zoo.
Zoanthids? They're actually zoanthids.
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 I don't know what's real.
But I don't ever say
you know what these
zoa. Oh God. I do, but I don't at the moment.
We'll let the guests, we'll let the viewers answer that one.
I think these are Ked Reds on those. And those are like a standard green, but I don't remember what they call them anymore. I got out of the naming coral game a long time ago.
Yeah, I am not up to speed on the name. I never have been really.
No,
There's a few that I know.
was like 8 years ago, but since 8 years, I have not followed the naming of corals because it's gotten insane. Because I bet you this zoanthid, whatever you want to call it,
It's
has
morphed to like 20 times.
14 different names. That one has
Oh,
like
I
50
see.
different names depending on what online store, what wholesaler, what person's tank. They all name it their own thing.
Best way to get rid of bubble algae.
Bubble algae is
it.
100. This is why you're not answering now.
Exactly.
Yeah. 100% the easiest way is to get an emerald crab. And just beware, they do have some aggression if you get too big of one. So don't go and pick up the largest emerald crab you have or you can find if you've got like a 10 or 20 gallon aquarium. So, and I don't know if it's factual, but I always found that male emerald crabs do tend to eat bubble algae better than females. The males do get bigger and they have bigger claws. They are technically predators by default if they don't have food. So don't add them and just let them be if they don't have any more food or anything to eat because they can catch small things. Now they're not going to catch a healthy fish or something, but Add those. They're actually going to eat it without spreading it. Now, if you don't want a crab, add a crab. What?
Well, you answered my follow-up question. I was like, how do they eat it and not spread it? Like, that was like, I'm like, because if they pop it.
They actually, I mean, I don't know if I'm right on this, but I think they actually like suck the inside out and then they like eat it.
Okay, that would make sense.
Don't quote me on this. Don't yell at me.
Yeah.
But
It makes
if
sense.
you do not want to put an emerald crab in there to naturally take care of it and control it, if you do need to take it out manually, don't go and pick it. Don't go and pop it. Don't try and peel it off the rock. It's not going to work. Is take a siphon tube, like when you're doing a water change, right over it and like peel it or pick it right in that tube and the water out, because you're going to take that animal spores out of the tank.
Yeah. That's the way I used to do it. I've had many a bubble algae in the past.
You're going to have it at some point with having an aquarium.
It's gonna end up in there somehow. Does Waterbox plan on selling livestock? I mean, honestly, no. Anything's possible, but that's unlikely. We have some really good companies that we work with, you know, that like live in
we're
Reef
happy
Orlando.
to recommend people.
Ton of really, I mean, these guys have been doing it forever, so definitely check out, especially the smaller businesses that sell online. There's a lot of really good, reputable ones. The local fish stores is what I'm speaking of specifically. They also have like farms.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips on upgrading to a larger saltwater tank?
I guess quick rundown, because this could be a very long conversation, is ideally, if you can, have the new aquarium in a different spot in your house so that your existing one can run while you set up the new one.
Yeah.
I see too many people run into I tore down my tank. Now the other one came, I'm having issues, it's delaying stuff, blah, 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 whatever the problem may be. Go as big as you can so you don't have to do this again, because it sucks. And the third main one is do not move over your sand bed. Start with new sand. That will crash your tank faster than anything, is to try and recycle sand from one tank to another.
Shaka said a fox face in a big tank will help as well with the bubble
Fox
algae.
faces can eat bubble algae. It's not
But
a
it's not
guarantee.
guaranteed, yeah.
Not a guarantee, and they can. And also, a fox face is generally considered reef safe, but they also can pick a coral. So they aren't 100% reef safe, but they are deemed mostly reef safe.
Not a question, just general information. Was rushed to the hospital 2 weeks ago due to palitoxin poison after fragging some of my corals. All it takes is a tiny cut and it can kill you. Wear gloves. Sorry to hear that, Josh. That is real danger.
Pallies are very dangerous. Whenever you're fragging them, it can get in your eye, it can get in your mouth, like it can get in your skin, a cut, and it is very, very dangerous.
The last big reef tank I had at my house, story time, it was covered in those big green pallies at the bottom, the base. And somehow I was very careful. I wore like an N95 and like goggles and like gloves and stuff. But I cleaned all those out and somehow did not get any sickness from it.
That's good. So honestly, funny is that
I don't remember what I did with them. Maybe the trash guy got sick.
Rich, someone killed someone somewhere. No. So even if you have a big rock of pallies and you take them out and you're real careful with your gloves and stuff like that, and like you leave them out and like they just dry out or something near you, it can be in the air.
The most dangerous.
That it can inhale. And another one, which is very odd, and I wouldn't think most people would do this, but I did run into this with a customer back in the day when I ran a store, is she was pulling pally rocks out of her tank, and she actually just set them outside and didn't even think about it. Her dog actually ate them, and it killed the dog. So there's a lot of trickle effect to pallies, and it's not the same as zoanthids. So palithoas are very different, but they're extremely toxic in air, touch. They can kind of spit out some of it, and also in ingestion. So do be very careful.
I remember a story also that I saw online. A guy, I don't remember exactly how this happened, but more or less ended up somehow pulling into the skimmer, and it ended up in the air. And the entire family ended up in the hospital.
Yeah. Well, now we've scared everyone who watches to ever keep a palithoa, so that's cool.
Yeah, be very careful if you have those big palithoas. It's a real thing. Why don't you think there's as much aquascaping culture around saltwater as much as freshwater?
Because aquascaping in saltwater, it's hard to show. Because even like here, and you'll look at some of our builds, and we've done some really cool escapes with cool tunnels and like little pathways and stuff, but it's hard to show that because it all kind of blends together, and then you cover it with coral. Now, I think that aquascaping and saltwater is a true art because it is very hard not to have a rock wall and still create space and stuff like that, but I think it's hard to show. Whereas in a freshwater aquarium, beautiful rocks, and then you got a beautiful piece of driftwood, and
tons of different
all
variety
around it, and then you're done. You do a saltwater, like here's my tank with rock, and then you kind of do a pan around, and you start putting corals on it. Like I just don't think it ever can show its true justice. I say if you look at like when people show their mock-up aquascape outside of the aquarium, is when it actually looks the best because you can see the intricacy of it. But once you put it in there, it's just gets so mumbled with all the coral and stuff happening that the rock is never meant to be the focal point.
Yeah, it's somewhat secondary to
It
what's
but
going
yet,
into it.
The design of it is so important for flow and detritus, fish swimming space, coral placement, that kind of stuff, that it just doesn't really show nearly as well.
Carib Sea and a couple others have really changed that dynamic a little bit because now you can create more intricate aquascapes easier because you're not just buying a box of rocks and hoping that there's something nice in it. You know exactly every rock comes out of a mold. It's the same. You know it's going to look
it's going to have a certain shape.
So you have a little bit more flexibility to make a nice aquascape. But yeah, the focal point in a reef tank, speaking of a reef tank, is the coral.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's true. The rock is just kind of there to hold the coral.
Yeah, and it takes a lot longer for those to grow in. So. Really good, interesting question. Would a purple tank be a good idea for a purple tang? Be a good idea for a 75-gallon?
I read that for a second and it was like a purple theme. Like I'm not really concerned. No, bad idea. Absolutely not. They are not the largest of tangs, but they can be pretty aggressive and they can stress easy too. So on those guys, I know that they say 4 foot's kind of the minimum. Ideally, I'd want to see those in a 5 or 6 foot. If you were to do them into a 4 foot, it needs to be as wide and decently tall as possible. I think the 75 in general is going to be pretty narrow. A 90 or 120 in that kind of footprint would be a better option. But he's going to be the king of the tank. He's going to bully stuff. He's going to be more likely to have ick. He's just going to be a butt.
Yeah.
So ideally, bigger is better.
What can I do if my hippotang is running on the rocks?
Rubbing on the
rocks.
If he is rubbing on the rocks, I mean, he's got something going on. He either has ick or flukes or something that is bothering his skin, or I guess not skin, scales.
Looks like skin.
Yeah, it does. They are pretty smooth looking. So if he is rubbing, that means there is something going on. They are the most prone fish, or one of the most prone to having that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So you can look at in-tank treatments, which I think a lot of times tend to be pretty risky if you have a lot of corals and stuff. If you don't already have them, go pick up a couple cleaner shrimp. Cleaner shrimp are going to be your natural cleaners of parasites, flukes, all the other stuff that go on with your fish. And just having them in the tank, while may not completely alleviate an issue, it is going to help and naturally keep the stress level down and the parasite levels down as well. And they're going to clean everybody. They're a great choice. Yeah. Cleaner shrimp should belong in every reef. Grab a number of them, sink a little bit of money into it, but they're going to have little cleaning stations. Every fish is going to go get cleaned. They're going to clean everything and pick them off. Everyone's happy.
I do want to touch on something real quick. I saw a comment that said that story's not really selling saltwater tanks, and also if saltwater has palytoxins, what is freshwater's equivalent? We're not talking about the saltwater tank itself. This is a specific coral that people keep in saltwater tanks. It's like a large zooanthid.
They're not even that popular anymore, I think, because of they are very invasive. They're very aggressive.
They spread like wildfire.
So.
Sorry, I wanted to show.
Yeah. So it's a Palithoa. It's a zooanthid, right?
It's related to a xanthan, but it's different. It's larger.
Very large green Palithoa that.
There's more colors now, but green's probably the most common invasive one. Yeah. Those are zoanthids.
Well, I put Palithoas and they look so much.
The top left, maybe.
This one?
Try it. Yes.
Yes.
So that's Paleothoa grandis, I think. Those are the grandest. But Paleothoa have a shorter tentacle rim than zoanthids, and they also have a larger disc head. So they're much larger. But
Usually like twice the size.
Yeah, at
right?
least. Yeah, they can get pretty good size. So these are very different than zoanthids. You're not going to see these nearly as often. But if you do have them, they become invasive, which is what the problem is because people are trying to scrub them off their rock, scrape them off their rock,
Yeah,
ditch them, take them out. Whereas you're not trying to do that with most other corals. You're just letting them grow in. But these become so overwhelming that you're trying to find a way to get them out of your tank is what leads you to problems a lot of the times.
Yeah, I would just say stay away from them because they aren't really that pretty looking anyway.
No. And there is, as far as I can consider, not a similar freshwater equivalent.
Yeah. So again, it's not the saltwater tank that's doing it, it's the specific coral that people are keeping that has a toxin on it.
Yeah.
Best tank mates for freshwater angels.
Ooh. Rams. I think rams are a really good choice. You can also do rainbows. I think if you're going to keep that kind of South American feel, but the rainbows would do well in there. But I think rams go really well with them. You can do some of the tetra family if it's not the small ones like neons and stuff, because angels get really big, and they will, as adults, eat some neon tetras and like those small ones. What's giggling?
You called the disc of the Paleothoa a disc head, and someone said, "Who does Jess call a disc head?" Like at work.
Nicely done.
So I read the comments sometimes, you guys, and I see funny stuff pop up. I can't help it. Hello, how many fish would you recommend is safe to stock in a Clear Mini 6? I have a few with one beta and a few snails each. Can I keep anything else inside?
No. If you got a couple fish plus a beta, I think you're pretty much done on a Mini 6.
Time for a Clear Mini 16 or 20 or 30 for all of them.
Yeah. Upgrade a bit if you want to do more fish or do something different.
Does a nanotech need a skimmer?
Technically, no aquarium needs a skimmer, but they are extremely valuable. The bigger it is, the more necessary it is because of waste removal and the size of water changes. Nano tanks do not need one, but I think it's going to help you a lot with not having to do so much water changes. Like with any aquarium, it does cut down on your actual maintenance to have a good functioning protein skimmer, because all that stuff that collects in the cup, that nasty stuff you don't like rinsing out of your skimmer cup, is fish waste and organics that otherwise would be in your water column that you're trying to remove by water changes and builds up as nitrates and phosphates and all that gunk. So everything it removes is better water quality for you and a little bit less maintenance. So if you can, I know on a nano, a lot of times it's kind of a big investment in comparison to the aquarium and everything else. It is going to be beneficial. If you're not running a skimmer, you need to up your water changes.
Any issues with adding a Yoyo Loach to a pleco grow-out tank to control a snail outbreak?
I don't think so, but I cannot say for sure. Oh, well, no, if it's not a pleco breeding tank, then no, you're fine. Yoyo Loaches are pretty cool. I like them a lot. They're
I'm sitting
adorable.
here wondering what a Yoyo Loach is.
You know,
They're
we
adorable.
had them in some of our tanks.
Do they?
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
That's the name of my next band.
Yoyo Loach?
I like it.
No, they're pretty chill. They're not aggressive or anything, so I don't think they're messing with your baby plecos at all. And they will help control some stuff. And loaches in general in the freshwater world.
That's a Yoyo Loach?
Yeah. They're so cute. They have a really fun personality.
That is a cool looking fish.
Yeah, lots and lots of personality. Keep them in a group. They are happier in a group, so ideally do that.
Yoyo Loach.
Yoyo Loach.
I think that's my new favorite fish.
There you go.
I'm learning stuff today.
You know.
I usually do.
Yeah.
Can I use CO2 scrubber in the NIOS media reactor? I know for the scrubber it has to be connected on the skimmer, but what if I use the media reactor?
I don't know. You're probably better off asking Nios on that.
Yeah.
I will be easy to admit when I don't know. I will not. No clue.
Seek out Nio's customer service. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Pineapple on pizza, a hauling yes or a screaming no.
Yes.
I say yeah, dude. I love a pineapple. I love a Hawaiian pizza.
Yes.
Love
I
it.
used to love it. I haven't had it in years, so I'm gonna go with like old school that I used to totally enjoy. Like you said, ham and pineapple type of pizza.
Yeah.
I did it, but it's been
It's a very
probably 10 or 20 years since
it's a
I've
very
had it.
divided question, and I really don't understand why.
It's
Yeah.
so good. It's mellow mushroom. Has
Is it just fruit in general
Keenan, yes or no?
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
You have 4 yeses in the room.
Yeah,
wow.
4 yeses, you guys. This is so awesome because it's not aquarium related for some reason.
I think non-aquarium questions are pretty cool.
But I've always wondered why that's so divided. Like, maybe because it's a fruit. Like, can you think of any other fruit that people put on
Well,
pizza?
I don't know if
purists, like that consider the pizza to be sacred.
Yeah.
And only have Italian ingredients
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah, and also I don't know if pineapple is necessarily a well-loved fruit either. Because it's like, I feel like it's a very divided line on if people like pineapple.
I'm
I
trying
think
to
you
see.
could put anything on a pizza.
Put anything on a pizza?
Yeah,
You want strawberries on a pizza?
Peanut butter.
Blueberries?
Sean
Peanut
says,
butter?
Sean
Ew.
says pineapple
Jelly
pizza
pizza.
makes Rich the disc head.
Damn.
But mostly people say they love it. So
Oh,
maybe it's-
barbecue chicken with pineapple. Oh, I should try. I love barbecue chicken.
Barbecue chicken is
Barbecue
great.
chicken pizza is so good.
it's true.
I have a barbecue pork
All right.
pizza in my fridge right
This is
now.
now a Q&A pizza episode.
So last question here.
What's your take on DIY tank stands versus bought like yours?
Oh, okay. Okay. You better know what you're doing. It's a lot of weight. DIY is cool in a lot of ways. You can do so much DIY with your aquarium. Now, if you do not have a carpentry background or have watched so much YouTube that you feel like you're a carpenter, don't make your own stand, because the amount of weight that's in an aquarium, I think people don't really even understand how heavy that actually gets. Like, you get an idea. I think we were actually talking the other day, Ivan, was like, how heavy will this get? We actually started calculating all the weight. You know, a lot of these tanks can be a ton, easily. So
you mean
add
2,000 pounds or more.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, having a stand that you built not as an engineer, not as a carpenter, is very risky. So do take it with a grain of salt. And if your stand is not up to par and it causes failures in your aquarium's not covered under warranty. So caution, extreme caution.
Yeah. It's-
Longevity and peace of mind is worth a lot.
Yeah, size determines a lot there too. Like back in the day, I say back in the day, like early 2000s.
That's
Like
back
it was,
in the day.
it was much harder to go out. Like you could get aquariums, but like unless you had a custom stand built, the stock stands they carried were horrendously ugly.
Oh my God, they were all glass, which is now Aqueon.
Yeah.
And it was like those wood slatted,
They're
like
super short.
3-sided, 24-inch. Oh
And honestly,
my
those
God.
didn't look like they could carry more than a few hundred pounds, but somehow they managed
No,
to.
they did. I mean, they were actual wood. I'll give them that back in the day. But no, the stand selection was
Yeah, so
so
you had
bad.
to-
You had
if-
to like crouch into any aquarium to look in it because every cabinet was so short.
So you had that, and then the other option was like build your own or have a carpenter build you one or whatever. So I did build, actually, my last largest tank, I did build
Oh,
the stand.
You're
But
not a
I did-
carpenter.
No,
nope.
luckily you couldn't really,
That worries me.
luckily it was like an in-wall tank, so you couldn't really see the stand.
Nope.
All right, I see how it is. Luckily you couldn't see the stand because it was mostly 2x4s and then the top plywood, whatever.
Okay.
But I did a lot of research beforehand. That was back in like the forum days where you could see a bajillion people that had built their own cabinet and they have the plans and all that. So I just followed it.
Okay.
But you don't have to do that now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you will save a little bit of money in the end, but
Yeah.
looks versus what you're getting. Now, if you're doing in-wall, yeah, I mean, that's completely different. But if it's a standalone piece of furniture in your house, I don't know if you can necessarily DIY it and look as clean and modern as like we design our cabinets to look. Like our
Yeah.
cabinets are designed to look in brand with that clean, everything lining up kind of look. So I guess there's a lot of ways to do it, but
There is.
Be careful. Be very, very, very careful.
Do your research.
All right, so that's all the questions today. We got through quite a lot. That's like
Yeah,
30
I'm
some
sure
odd
there's-
minutes of
Keep on
Q&A.
coming, so-
I know.
Yeah, we really appreciate you guys. There's a lot of questions. We were hoping we could get. Maybe next time we'll do this quite a bit longer or something. Maybe we'll start earlier.
We just need to do them more frequently.
Yeah, do it more frequently or start
Yeah.
earlier so we can go a little bit longer.
5-hour Q&A.
It'll just, yeah.
Just start here at noon. Be like noon on Q&A.
So,
All right, we're not actually doing that.
but we are giving away 2 $100 gift cards, you guys. So for all y'all participating, we appreciate you being here. And just so you guys know, we are here every week, mostly. And we do usually give away Waterbox gift cards, so it pays to tune in, and we have a good time. So.
All right, we ready for some winners? All right, 2 Waterbox gift card winners are...
Oh yeah. Isaac Bender and Adam. Email. I like that. It's weird. A lot of times I don't have to read like crazy usernames. But you guys email winners@waterboxaquariums.com and they'll get you hooked up with your gift cards as soon as possible. So
I'd please do add in if you're from the USA or Canada,
I always
so I can
forget to say
issue.
that.
Yeah, so I can issue the gift card to the right country, and I don't have to go back and forth with emails in you in the morning. And first thing when I get in, I will email those over to you. So we'll be here next week.
yes.
We are here next week. I
Where am
forget what we're talking about next week, but just join us, and we're gonna schedule in some more Q&As so that we have more time to do this.
Yeah.
And we're back next week.
See you guys.
See ya.
Thank you all for watching. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. And to learn more about Waterbox, visit waterboxaquariums.com.
We're live every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week.
Out.